Ruth Buzzi, Purse-Wielding Gladys of Laugh In, is dead at 88. She had other roles on stage and on TV, but none more memorable than the wary spinster fending off male advances on that raucous sketch show. Ruth Buzzi, whose wary spinster wielding a vicious pocketbook to fend off male advances both real and imagined, was among the most memorable characters on Rowan and Martin's Laugh In, the TV comedy grab bag of a show of the psychedelic era, died on Thursday at her ranch near Fort Worth. She was 88. Her agent, Michael Eisenstadt, said the cause was complications of Alzheimer's disease, which was diagnosed 10 years ago. With an elastic, expressive face and a gift, both vocal and physical, for caricature, Ms. Buzzi had a long performing career. She played myriad roles on stage in summer stock, appeared on Broadway once, with a tripartite credit, as the good fairy/woman with hat/receptionist, in the 1966 musical, Sweet Charity, performed in TV variety shows. Showed up as a guest star in a host of sitcoms, and had minor parts in movies, including Freaky Friday, the 1976 identity swap comedy, and The Apple Dumpling Gang Rides Again, a loopy 1979 Disney Western. Nothing in her career, however, had the enduring appeal of her determinately unappealing, laugh-in, character Gladys Ormthby, a combination schoolmarm, delicate courgette and battle-axe clad in a drab brown cardigan, long skirt, saggy stockings and a hairnet with a knot in the middle of her forehead. Gladys's regular appearances on the show, an NBC primetime fixture from 1968 to 1973, were generally in skits involving Tyrone, the quintessential dirty old man, Arte Johnson, who would get a little too close, breathe a little too heavily and make a little too suggestive a comment, provoking Gladys to wallop him with her purse. At a time when social mores were growing rapidly less prescriptive, Gladys, who seemed interested in sex and revolted by it in equal measure, was a vivid, and hilarious, representative of the confusion that reigned among an older, more conservative generation surprised by the sexual revolution. Ms. Buzzi took on dozens of roles and dozens of skits on Laugh In, as part of an ensemble that also included Goldie Hawn, Lily Tomlin, Judy Carne, Gary Owens, Joe and Worley and Henry Gibson, with the comedy team of Dan Rowan and Dick Martin as the ringmasters. But her Gladys had a life outside the show as well, making guest appearances elsewhere. Early on, much of them involved humor at the expense of Gladys's homeliness, the kind of joking about a woman's appearance that would be little tolerated today. In the early 1970s, Ms. Buzzi was a guest on The Dean Martin Show, and at one point, as Gladys, she enters the set with a complaint she wants to lodge with the star, who is sitting on a stool in his tuxedo. What follows is a skit focused on her flat-chestedness. "Listen, Dean, I saw that bit you did with the cue card girl before," Gladys said. "And I don't see why I can't be a cue card girl. You name one thing that she's got that I haven't got." To which Mr. Martin replied that he couldn't name one, but I can name two. Ms. Buzzi later appeared on Sesame Street, as the cartoon voice of the character Susie Cabluzzi, as the owner of a second-hand store and occasionally as a child-friendly version of Gladys. She also voiced a cartoon version of Gladys, alongside Arte Johnson as a toned-down Tyrone, on the animated series, Baggy Pants and the Nitwits. In a more ribald vein, Ms. Buzzi appeared as Gladys on several televised celebrity roasts, hosted by Mr. Martin, in which, swinging her purse, she pummeled the daylights out of the likes of Frank Sinatra and Muhammad Ali. Ruth and Buzzi was born on July 24, 1936, in Westerly, Rhode Island, to Angelo and Rena Mackey Buzzi. Her father was a stone carver and monument maker. Ruth grew up in nearby Stonington, Connecticut, where she was a high school cheerleader. She spent 3 years as a student at the Pasadena Playhouse in California and made her professional acting debut in 1956, in San Francisco, appearing as a seminary girl in the play, Jenny Kissed Me, which starred Rudy Valley.